I still didn't do it right. Ugh. I still don't think I did it right. I still can't figure out how to do a live, so I don't think I did it right. I just lost a piece of paper, so I'm going to give up. I can't seem to do it right because that's not scheduling. So I am just going to stay here for a minute. Whoops. Oh, that doesn't work at all. All right, I'm going to end. See, that didn't work. Didn't work at all. Nah, it's not working. Oh. Oh. Oops. Hi. Oh my God. Can you? Hi, Mrs. Gigi and Arlene. I still haven't figured out how to schedule a live video, and so it went live, but I guess it just doesn't automatically turn on. I guess that's what I was expecting. So I guess it doesn't pop up. It doesn't do anything. I always have trouble when we do our live hops. So I don't know whether I don't think I did anything right. But I mean, Mrs. Gigi, you're here, and Arlene, it's a rainy afternoon in Tennessee, right? And it's hot and humid here in Florida. I have no business to complain about the weather, but it's February. It's 83, and I don't want to turn my air conditioning on. So I'm assuming you can hear me. Was that yours to say hi? Thank you. All right, I appreciate that. I'm not still sure whether it's working or not. So I'm just trying to anticipate for tomorrow night. And I guess I'll just go in and sign in like I would normally do and not count on the scheduling for the live hop because it just doesn't work. Okay. So Arlene, I'm gonna end this and okay. Thank you, Mrs. Gigi. Everything's fine. Sound, picture. Okay. I've been messing around with some, what do they call it? Intuitive writing with a Sumi ink. I have some Sumi ink here. And obviously you can't do it on deli paper. So at least not on the shiny side. So I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Nope, deli paper does not work. So I learned that. So anyway. Well, I appreciate you telling me everything's good. And I guess I'll see you, Arlene. I'll see you, maybe Mrs. Gigi tomorrow. I think they've changed up the times. We're doing something a little bit different. And I guess I don't want to keep you because I was just, well, people are starting to come in. So, hi, Barb, how are you? I love it that you're using et al. That's always a great one when you're doing, it reminds me of doing footnotes and others. I think that you were supposed to use that when you had what, more than 3 authors, or there was some thing with footnotes and everything. I used to teach at one point in my teaching career. I taught some English along the way and had to teach kids how to do research papers and all of the footnotes and all of that fun stuff. And pretty interesting. Okay, bye, Mrs. Gigi. See you tomorrow. We have our Friday all day live hop tomorrow, starting at 6 6:30 a.m., I think. And in 30-minute increments. And I think it starts at 6:30 with Mary, and then it stops at, Arlene, I think it stops at what, 10 a.m.? And then it picks up again in the evening, I do believe. And so I'm looking forward to that. Um, I don't think we're supposed to say much about it. So that's all I can, Mary's running it, and Mary always likes to have a little twist here and there. So there will be 5:45 Central. Okay, thanks, Arlene. All right, and that's Mary comes in and gets the ball rolling, so to speak. But so what's people been working on since I can actually talk and chat with you? Anybody doing? I mean, I know Arlene is sending out massive happy meals. I saw that the other day. That was just amazing. I am with Berg, and I have a teapot, and I thought I'd make a little, kind of made a pattern, or I cut out a pattern with tracing paper, and I am PM, Barb. I am in the evening I used to be on later. I'm on at 6:50 p.m. And Janet Nash will be just before me. Janet's normally in the morning, but apparently with Beth Schuler, and so Beth is going to have the early morning slot, and then so it'll be Janet, then me, and I don't know whether when I posted it, whether my description even showed up. Oh, did you really? Oh, wow. That is a major de-stash. Oh my gosh, Arlene. That is incredible. Good for you. Yes, thanks goodness for replays. I watch a lot in replays. Absolutely. So, but Arlene is doing a major. Were you surprised that you had acquired so much stuff, or did you kind of know you had so much stuff? Or did you discover that you had more stuff as you were detaching it? And I think is it on I'm imagining it's on the Fibsville page also. Nice little picture, a thumbnail for it, but trying to mess around. I'm going to use. I had made some Valentine foams, so that was mine. So Barb, what are you working on? Keeping yourself out of trouble? Yes. Anything? I finished my scavenger hunt. You knew it, and it really is nice. I find that very interesting. Keeping warm. I find that, yeah, Arlene, I've reached a point like that, and I'm not, really very talented. So, and I've acquired some stuff, and some days I just want to, get rid of it all and figure out something else to do. And then but I think that's brilliant. That you just clear the stuff, which clears your mind and enables you to focus on the stuff that you really want to do. And I think that's really very brave of you. Oh, how cool. A birthday journal. That's awesome. I make birthday cards, but just for my family, and they're very personal, obviously. because they're just for the immediate family. But hours and hours go into each card, and I think they appreciate it. I'm not sure, but really, I enjoy doing it. Finding personal stuff, hobbies, the things that they love, incorporate. Sometimes I try to do a pop up type of thing. There's a couple of really good people that do really really cool pop up type of cards on YouTube that I follow, and especially for my grandsons, they get a kick out of that. But you're doing a whole journal. Now, is the journal about her, I guess, interests and things like that? So a journal is obviously much bigger than just a single card. I think that's very, very cool. Is she the type of person that will appreciate that? Arlene, I would have to say collage. Or gluing. I mean, collage is a little bit more mindful than just gluing, but I love harvesting magazines. I love fussy cutting. I love, I can't look at a magazine without cutting out pictures and gluing them. And so I guess that's what calms me. And I've been trying to teach myself how to draw probably for the last 5 years. And I've read Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. I'm going through it a second time, and I just don't see any improvement, which I find frustrating. So I always go back to gluing and, pasting. I can put together, what would be considered, a collage other than just gluing stuff. But I find gluing stuff very peaceful. So I guess that's what makes me happy. So Barb, your journal is going to be about her interests. That's cool. Very nice. But that's a good question, Arlene. Hi, Janice. How are you? Oh, okay. All righty. She's not big into writing. However, I think it stems from school essays. Yes, I agree. Having to teach seventh graders how to write an essay is painful from the teacher's perspective, and it's boring, and and it's just as boring for them as it is for me to teach them. The classic 5-paragraph essay. And hi, Janet. How are you? Oh, thank you, Jan. You don't have to. That's okay. But I think when you have to write in school and those formulated essays, it really kind of takes the fun out of it, which is unfortunate. Very few schools that I know of, at least, offer like creative writing classes. Oh, okay. Yeah. So obviously there'll be places for her to do journaling. Are you going to like have prompts in the journal to kind of get her, give her some ideas on how to, maybe what to write about, like one of those journals? Hi, Violet. Nice to see you. Best school writing, the teacher ridiculed. Okay. I'm not sure what that means. Yes. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying, Barb. You just want to have just kind of write whatever. Yeah. I write every day. And I write with a fountain, collect fountain pens, and I know that it's going to bleed through. on to the next page. And on the page where, oh, I'm buffering. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't say anything whether I've got a signal or not. Did you really? Oh my gosh, Janice, that's brilliant. So you threw back the rules, basically. You did the classic reporter story. Did you do that when you were a kid? I hope the teacher appreciated it. Your sense of humor. Because that's great. My oldest son was a very, very good writer, and he had a really good sense of humor. He once wrote an essay. I think he must have been he was probably in 8th grade, and he wrote an essay on a stealth bomber, because the stealth bomber had just come out. It was a stealth bomb about the stealth bomber, and that nobody could find it. So, see, those teachers, I would just like to, you were kidding. They didn't find that funny? Yeah. That's, I think that's hysterical. Living in a Stephen. Well, Stephen King's up in Maine. Yeah, I have to tell you, Stephen King, I've only read a couple of his books, and he scares the living beneath out of me. You know, I read Cujo and can never look at a dog again the same way. He just scares me. I mean, and I haven't read much of his stuff, but everything I've read. Oh, Christine, the car, woo, scary. I haven't had any rain, none. It hasn't rained here in weeks. In weeks. Of The Shining. Oh my gosh, I didn't read The Shining, but the movie with Jack Nicholson. Oh, how creepy was that? Oh my God. I watched that with my son, and he must have been about, I'm going to say he was maybe 11 or 12, kind of, in that teenage tween years where he was too cool, and we were sitting on either side of the couch in the living room, and this was upstate outside Buffalo, and it was snowing and blowing that night when we decided to watch that. And as the movie progressed, we started moving closer and closer together, and then all of a sudden we were had our arms around each other as we were watching the end of the movie. So it was an interesting experience. Usually the books are better than the movies. At least that's what I've found. But I've not read the book. The movie just really scared me to death. Like Stephen King makes me glad that I can't. Oh gosh, I can't. He's a pretty. I'm sure you all know that a couple of years ago, I guess he was hit. It was a hit and run, I do believe. He was walking in the back roads up in Maine where he lives. He was hit and horribly injured, and they took him to, I guess, the Maine hospital in Bangor, Maine, where he recuperated. And afterwards, he was very generous with big donations to the hospital. But Maine is pretty rural. My sister and brother-in-law lived in Maine for many, 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 many years. And now she's moved back to New Hampshire. Still pretty cold, though. Book was good enough. So, yeah, but I guess February is the worst for people that live up north. I mean, here it doesn't get dark until 5:36. What am I doing? I've started to. Are you guys familiar with Robin McClendon? McClendon, I think is her name. She does a type of altered book. Um, Not in the Laurie Marie Jenkins way of an altered book. It's more of she kind of is into Nick Bantock. Yeah, Jane, I read that. Jane was 37, 33 below. It's amazing. Yeah, we had only one day where they closed school because it was too cold for the kids to wait for the bus stop, and it was 37 below. Oh, okay, Barbara Clark. Hi, Barbara. Yeah, she is pretty amazing. We're talking about McClendon. Um, and she follows Nick Bantock. Um and she does what I guess what they call mail art. Yeah, she's got a lot of free stuff on YouTube. That's where the altered book is. I just became a Patreon of hers. Um, so I'm working on the one book that she has all of the projects on YouTube, but they are challenging. Um, her stuff is just gorgeous. But this is the guy that she follows. Um, I happen to have this book in creating dubious art, and he is just stunning, you know. And this book is a how-to book, but honestly, I don't know how you would. He's showing you how to do this stuff, but most of us don't have access. Yeah, she is like Laurie Marie. Yes. Now I have this stamp here, and I got it out. I'll show you. I stamped it on some. See, I have this stamp, and I added a little red to it, and I've got this. These are two different guys, and then I added it to this. Just I hear you, Barbara. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, but I am attempting to do some of that. So I've altered my book, but this is some of the stuff that he does, and I don't know is anybody. Yeah, the lizard stamps are wonderful. He had a book called it's a game. Now I can't remember it. Yes, I agree. Her art through losing her son and then her dad is amazing. She was just on today. I watched her this morning, and she's made a copper book that's gorgeous. But this is some of the stuff that these are some of his pages. See, I have something like this that I could print on top of. And I have some old money. And of course, maps. Is it called Dubious Documents? That's the name of his game? I have that too. But anyway, that's what I think Robin is using this. But I haven't gotten that far. This is one of her prints. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I did some jelly plating with her. So this is this is my jelly plate, and this is her that I printed off. Let's see, and these are my jelly plates that I stamped on. So I'm just getting ready. This is a picture that I cut out of a magazine. So I found this in a magazine. I thought that these are hers. Yes, you saw that too. Yeah, she did use copper wire. And she did the Coptic stitch with copper wire. And I guess she used 20 gauge, and she thought that maybe was a little bit too thick. So that's Robin's. Let's see. These are my jelly prints that I did. This is my jelly print. This is hers. I've added this picture and these stamps. And that's as far as I've gotten. But this is going to be a challenge, but I think this will be, there's not that many pages. When she did it, she got a book at the Dollar Tree, and much thicker than this, but you pull out, like, I don't know, she pulled out 7 and glued 2 together. So I think I only have about 35 pages. So it's not as intimidating. But once you get to a certain, I mean, I think I've got some neat pieces to kind of put in here and kind of use Nick Bantock as a guide. And I've been trying to do some, she does a lot of, what do you call that, intuitive, that intuitive writing with the Sumi pen. And I got a Sumi pen kit from, it was an auction at Defy. And I just took it out, and it's got the little pad, and you make the own ink. And I was messing around with that. And so I've got some pieces here that I'll rip those out. I just have to go through stuff. Here's a Chinese dictionary that I had. We had a lot of Chinese international exchange students where I taught. So I've got Chinese textbooks, geometry, calculus, Chinese textbooks and such. And this is really neat. And I've talked to people about this. Can you let me get this out of the way, because I'm into using shoe polish. Arlene, you going? Okay. You take care of yourself. Stay warm. Rest up. Yes. I'm not ready to do that. I'm practicing. Maybe eventually I will do that directly to the page. I've been making the, what do you call it? Aged Scotch tape. And I'm using shoe polish. Just regular. I pulled this label off because I used part of that for my scavenger hunt. But this is regular brown shoe polish. And you can use it to stain papers and make this awesome Scotch tape. I mean, I just put this down on a piece of wax paper, and it looks really cool. And I have packing tape and regular Scotch tape. And you just, if you can get a hold of it. Let's see. Where are we? There we are. I used a piece of it. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it just peels off. And then you have like a washi tape. Oops. Oh, I must have put this on the wrong side. It's not sticky. I'd have to use a glue stick. But you get a really kind of cool effect when you do this. Uh-huh. Coffee, yeah. Yeah, try it. I mean, if you don't mind, some of you are here. Let me do I haven't done a flip through, but I finished the 21 scavenger hunt. Oops. And I ended up using these rings because I ended up being on individual pages. And so this is my So while a couple of you are here, I can flip through and you'll be the first to see it. So this is a thing I made, oh my gosh, many, many years ago, and it ended up being perfect for this. So this is my swatch page. product page, I think. And Miss Lena was my person that I used as a fib person. If you're not familiar with Miss Lennox 2010, she's hysterical. My candy wrapper. These are my postage stamps. These are my kind of faux postage stamps. This was a page of pink. Greeting card. Now, you guys will get a kick out of this if you know Mary. This is my ransom note. And I got this idea from Popo. It says, Mary, I have your candle. You get it back when you show me your fire extinguisher. And so this was, Popo gave me this idea. If anybody's familiar with Mary and her candle, she set her art table on fire once and almost set it on fire a second time. Yes, Lena is hysterical, Barb. Oh my gosh, she is just funny. Absolutely hysterical. So, but Popo and I were kind of crafting together, and I was saying I can't come up with a ransom note. And then Popo said, oh, why don't you hold Mary's candle hostage? So that's what my ransom note. Cartoon character. This is my quote. It's kind of messy, but it says, why not go out on a limb? That's where all the fruit is. So I have a tree and a lemon, and this is my flag tag. This was nature. This was junk mail. This was napkin. This was a textbook, one of my Chinese textbooks that I got from one of the students. Playing cards. I did black and white washi tape. This was a tissue paper. I kind of splotted ink on toilet paper. Here's my coffee stain. Lipstick, patterned paper. There was a jelly. I doubled up on a lot of them. Jelly page and photograph. So this is a jelly print I made. This is a photograph of my Aunt Margaret from New Bedford, Massachusetts, and her son. And this was a coloring page, stitching, and a non-art supply. So here's the label from the shoe polish. So I got 3 out of 1 on this. This was the tea bag. I used some stamps. This was paper bag. So I have a Starbucks bag and a tip in. So I combined those two together. We had to do feathers. So I made paper feathers, and then I made a pocket, and then I made a feather stamp out of foam. I just carved it. And this one was circles, Post-its, and inked. So I punched out circles on my Post-it notes, and I took an ink pad and inked it. So I got 3 out of that one. So insert an envelope. Sometimes, you're inspired and sometimes not. So this one, we had to do a matchbook. So I went online and I printed out pictures of matchbooks, and I put the little stapling. This is an ad from a 1960s Look magazine. And I made little matches. These aren't real matches, but I made little matches. So this was the matchbook one, which I kind of liked. I still have some others here I printed out. So I haven't put any matches in those, but those are because it's hard to find matchbooks. I mean, no one gives those out anymore. So these are my faux matches. And the Philip Morris. Remember those commercials? Call for Philip Morris. And here's my blow ink on a page. Wrapping paper, my all-time favorite wrapping paper. Tickets. So these are tickets. These are Timmy tickets, and they have the names of theaters. So I went online and Googled the theaters. So I have the Elston Theater, and here's a picture of the Elston Theater. So I kind of combined those. The Colonial Theater, and here's the Colonial Theater. Look at that, Jackie Cooper. How old is that? I remember Jackie Cooper when he was with the Little Rascals. Butterflies. This called for lace and ribbon, and there was a glitter thing. Hi, Patricia. How are you today? I'm just, flipping through my scavenger hunt book and kind of explaining how I doubled up, tripled up. This was lace, ribbon, and glitter and art supplies that you don't use. So these are stickles, which I never use. So I kind of did that. And they call for dried flowers, and I don't have any dried flowers. So this is my dried flower. It's a napkin. Draw a map. This is my little map. Let's see if you can see that. My little map. It's a map of really where I live. I kind of copied it from the map that comes with the where I live. So, and money and miniature. So I did a bunch of inchies. So these are my little inchies, and I cut out a picture of a living room from one of my magazines, and I put the inchies on the wall. Let's see. This is where. This was a gift from Johnny, and this is from Janet Nash. It was aluminum foil, and so this is underneath this are pieces of cardboard that are cut out, as you can see. And this is Freedom Tower. And these are stickers from Edward Gorey. And if you didn't have the stickers on it, this is a really cool technique, and I want to do a YouTube on it. But if you make these little prints, and there's a name for this type of printing, and you can just color this in with the cheapest crayon water, the magic marker water solubles, and then you can print. And you really end up with a pretty kind of interesting print. So that's what this is. But I used the aluminum foil for that. Let's see. And this is a magazine image and also black and white. You had to draw your hand and you had to repair something. So I ripped the page, printed my hand using ink blot printing, which is an Andy Warhol technique. And here's that tape. This is what that tape looks like if someone was going to go try that. That's the cheap tape with the shoe polish. So that's what it looks like when you use that technique. So that was 2 prompts. The other one was stencil and alphabet. So I did the stencil of the alphabet and I offset it. So I did it twice and then I just stamped. This was my white page. Have I said hi to everybody? Yeah, I have. And this was a flower page. Chain. I was going to do something more with the chain. And we had to have fib art. And this is my fib art. This is what Lena just sent me. And isn't this gorgeous? That just arrived the other day. She sent me all sorts of goodies. And this was from Janet Nash. I have 2 fib things. This is Dear Ann, love from Janet Nash. So there was a fabric thing as one of the prompts and a safety pin. So this is from Janet, and she made the fabric snippets, and I used a safety pin. Yeah, I'm telling you, that shoe polish, it's great. I'll show you what a big piece looks like. Whoops. See, these are not staying together. Let's see. This is a word, it says baggy. This is a Galligaskin, baggy trousers worn by sailors of the 17th century. This word was a fanciful corruption of the French garquest in the Greek style. We're not always spoken of directly in polite conversation. So that's my word. Favorite childhood toy. I played with a little type. This is a Steiff teddy. This is the smallest one they make. My friend and I used to make furniture for them, and we'd put it in a little suitcase, and we'd go to spend the night at one another's house, and we'd have like a a plastic bag with our clothes, and we'd have these big suitcases. And in these suitcases were Teddy and all the little things that we made to go, like little beds and stuff. And here he is. He has survived. I think this little guy is probably 60 years old, maybe. But that's the smallest Steiff bear. And they make them, no, it's not time. The tiger's looking for. This is my Zentangle. My attempt, and you had to have something transparent, so I put it in one of those clear plastic bags. And then we had to do pop tops from tin cans, so I made like a little pop top person. And this is just the background I did. Buttons, not very inspired, but puzzle. This is my finger paint, less inspired. Oh, your Paddington still has his hat. That's impressive. Yeah. Now, this is my favorite cartoon character, and I attempted to draw him, and it looks like he was obviously under the sun lamp. He doesn't look. He doesn't look bad, but in real life, his face is almost orange. But in this light, it doesn't look that bad. So now so he looks great. We had to do a zine, and I drew faces in my zine. Now, why I chose drawing faces, I don't know, because I struggle with drawing. But this is just my little. And this is dyed paper. I think it's parchment paper that I dyed, and I made this little zine with some faces. And calendar page. I love Charlie Brown. And now this is my found object. Again, not inspired, other than I found it and I taped it down on a piece of page. That's it. Some of these are not inspired. Now, we were supposed to paint our breakfast, but half the time I would eat it and then remember I had to paint it. And by the time you painted it, it would be cold, so I took a picture. But again, this is, anyway, as someone commented, it's supposed to be scrambled eggs with lots of pepper, and this is supposed to be an English muffin. Janet Nash kind of asked me about what kind of English muffin was that, and I said, well, we can blame Thomas's for it because it's Thomas's English muffin, but I don't think it's anything close to an English muffin as you would have in England, so we had a good chuckle about that. The next one was 5 senses, and I did a collage of the 5 senses. As you can see, we've got all of the senses: touch, hearing. These hands here is a cartoon of Patti LaBelle, but obviously let's see, some pages are blank. Again, totally. Hi, Aunt Beck, how are you? Just kind of flipping through a scavenger hunt and trying to see whether I had figured out how to schedule a YouTube for a future time, which I have still not figured out. Uninspired, rusty page. I note to myself, this is a cleanup page, smack and drag. Band-Aids, I kind of gave a bloodied knee and elbow. Again, not very inspired. Lint, not very inspired, but I took a picture of it. Now, this one is for pet, and I'm not sure. It says 81 and 86. I doubled up on so many of these. I'm not sure. But this is that Andy Warhol ink blotting drawing that he used to like do some of his artwork. So I did that, and it's a very cool technique, and maybe I'll do a YouTube on how to. It's not that difficult, but I love how it looks when it comes out. What's Barbara? Huh. Oh, and then then you're supposed to put down a place that you would like to go to. So I put down a place that I'd like to go back to, and that's Mallorca. And this is what Mallorca looked like. This is this town of Dea up in the mountains of Mallorca, and I lived there for a year, my junior year in college. And yeah, it's beautiful. I'd love to go back. And this is the church up here, up in the little tiny church right here. And then there's a map of Dea. We had to do a T-shirt saying, and this is not mine. I didn't come up with this originally. It's called Stupidity Kills, but Not Soon Enough. So I added a rock, like dumb as a box of rocks. So I kind of inspired that. And soap. I have Ivory, good old Ivory soap. Vegetable stickers. I had some, these are stamps that I had. So I added that. Border. So I did 2 borders. Yeah, I will, because it's really fun. I did the hand that way too. And this was the origami. And I am not good with origami because my brain just doesn't work that way. But this is called the $2 pantsuit because it's made out of $2 bills. I mean, yeah. So here are the pants. And then they go in here. And if you, I think you can Google it, and it says $2 pantsuit. So, and then we had to do miniature greeting cards. So I made these wee tiny little, and I made little tiny envelopes here. And I used the Hallmark thing to kind of, well, maze and then string. So I put the string in the maze, squares. So these are all different squares. And orange, coupons. And then the last one was wild card. And I used this technique that came from a book called Paper Cut Paste. Whoops, where is it? Oh, no. Oh, I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. Coupons and then postcard and random fact. So here's my postcard. And then I have random facts all about these clay soldiers. There were it took 700,000 workers, 40 years to complete that. And it was in honor of an emperor. And then they all ended up being, I guess, killed, and because they didn't want anybody to know where it was. But there's 40,000 soldiers. It's amazing. So that's that. And then this is a paper. Kind of, it's not really collage. It's a paper painting. So this is a picture of the Cornish coastline. And then this is just little pieces of paper cut out and glued down. So that's what I did for my wild card. And that's it. And so that's the 2021 scavenger hunt. The 3rd year I've done it. And I found this one harder. I don't know. And this is my my closer. And I use these big loops. So I think that worked pretty good to hold it all together. And so that's, look, I can even hang it. No, I wouldn't hang it. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. Hi, Jane. And oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's fun. Keeps me out of trouble. I love to, these type of challenges keep me focused, because a lot of times I'm just all over the place, and I'm looking for something. And I don't know how many of you get started with something and then you lose interest, so you have unfinished stuff. But with something like the scavenger hunt or some sort of challenge like that, I'm the type of person that once I start something, I really feel compelled to finish it. especially something like the scavenger hunt. Now, this was obviously something that you can't sit down and do at one sitting, so you had to keep on coming back. And so I was bound and determined to finish it. So I sent an email to Janet saying I had finished it because 2 years ago I won. And it was random. I said I had finished it, and then she had her drawing, and she gave away one of her handmade books, and I was fortunate that I won the prize that year. So I don't know what she's giving away this time. Oh, I thank you, but I'm not that creative. I mean, if you have an opportunity, check out Miss Lena, because she's been showing her scavenger hunt pages, and all I can say is OMG, because her pages are amazing, and it's really, it's amazing to see other people, what they're doing and how we all interpret those prompts differently. That's the fun thing. I still enjoy Aunt Beck's Pick Tens and Dirty Dozens, and I've cut those up and made those into postcards. It's all a lot of fun. Again, the unknown, the prompt part of it is kind of fun, and that's what we're going to be doing Friday night. It's a Pick 10 Valentine mystery. Becky, is that right? Do I have that title right? It's a Pick 10 Valentine mystery, I think. Yeah. So, any other questions or such? I don't want to keep you. I'm probably going to sign off. That's right, Friday, Pick 10, hop party. Yes, we're going to hop along. Okay. Or limp along in whatever that case may be. Becky, are you in the morning or evening? I can't remember. I'm in the evening. I'm a little bit earlier this time. I'm normally later, but I'm earlier this time. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Arlene was on earlier, and it starts at 5:45 in the morning. Mary's going to kick it off, and then I think it runs through ends at 10 a.m., and then it picks up again at about 5:30 in the evening Central Time. All right, you're number 2 in the morning. Okay, right after Beth. Okay, I know Beth and Janet Nash switched places, but it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. I've almost wanted to do a run through, but we'll just, it'll be cool. It'll be different for sure. So, well, thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate it, and I will see you tomorrow night, hopefully. And have a great afternoon and the rest of the day. Be safe, be careful, and wear a mask.